Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 2 coverage of the final stage of the ISU Junior Grand Prix. We're here in the spectacular location of Egna, Neumarkt, just about an hour and a half north of Verona. We're surrounded by mountains, rivers, lakes, small communities filled with orchards and wineries, and, of course, warm and friendly people. I'm your host, Ted Barton. My colleague, Mark Hanratty, will be joining us from his home in Nottingham. It's the free dance, our first final here in Egna, and leading after the rhythm dance, Katarina Mrazikova and Daniel Mrazek of the Czech Republic have a 10-point lead, pretty much guaranteed of joining the Junior Grand Prix final in Torino. And Lim and Ye Quan of Korea find themselves in fourth and will need their brilliant free dance to move them onto the podium, as will Canadian team of Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Terrien, who are currently in fifth position. There'll have to be movement in this event by these teams, or those at home might find their way to Torino. So let's get started. The free dance final begins right now. Welcome, everyone, to Day 2 competition here at the ISU Junior Grand Prix final event of the series as we look at the Worth Arena, a beautiful valley here, just about an hour and a half north of Verona. I'm your host, Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty, who's joining us from home in Nottingham. Mark, the free dance, your final event of the Junior Grand Prix season.
Yes, and sad that it's my final event. It really does look like a gorgeous location that you're in, Ted, for this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of audio music from the arena as well. I'm not sure if you're getting that as well, Mark, as we take a look at the officials for this event with the judging panel and the technical panel as well. As we look for the first group to come on the ice for their warm-up. And Mark, this should be really a great competition. As I said in the opening, you know, a couple teams out of podium position at the moment, teams sitting at home as well, so there needs to be some movement for the teams that are here in order to qualify for the final. So it should be pretty exciting near the end of this competition in the final group.
Yes, really excited, and there are teams that are finding themselves in medal contention after the rhythm dance that maybe didn't expect that, and they'll be desperately eager to come away from the event with their own silverware, not really appreciating the implications that may have on others. So many variables and factors for how the result will affect various teams around the world. But whatever happens, I think on the Junior Grand Prix Series this year, Ted, I've been so appreciative of the vastly different stylistic choices that the teams have gone for. As I said in Gdansk, the teams don't confer unless they have the same coaching staff. They don't confer with what choices they'll go for, but we've been treated to some really different thematic pieces.
Yeah, there's been a lot of variety, and it's really exciting. I mean, we said, you know, generally in the rhythm dance, we see, you know, a lot of similarities, obviously, and a lot of choices of music the same. But in the free dance, there's such a wide variety. It makes it so much more entertaining. It's really exciting to follow. And you know that you're not going to be getting the same, you know, themes and same approaches, and which makes it even more complicated, obviously, for the judging panel as well.
Yes, the judges need to be really as well versed and educated as they possibly can be to different dance styles. It's different, obviously, to the rhythm dance, whereby couples had to choose a tango, and then a limited choice of different other dance styles they had to pick. Whereas in the free dance, that open-ended choice, the only real criteria that the couples must stick to is just making sure that any music of the same tempo, rhythm and expression should last approximately not more than 75% of the program, so the couples have to have a change somewhere within the context of their free dance.
Yeah, and I would venture to say that in juniors, that the most mature discipline at this moment, obviously, is the ice dance, because it has all to do with performance, or mostly to do with performance, not all to do with performance. So obviously, lots of technical elements as well, but a lot of training goes into making sure that the characters and the stories that are told here have a mature approach to it. And generally speaking, you do see some really nice overall approaches to the choreography. And in the pairs and the singles, of course, it's a little bit less so. They've got more technical elements they're focused on when they're juniors, and they start to mature into performance a little bit later as they transition from junior to senior.
Yeah, and it was really interesting, Ted, when you were acknowledging that different disciplines within our sport can attract different types of character, and how, as a generalization, the dancers tend to be a little bit more extrovert. And then you can sometimes see some of the skaters who may have geographically landed in an area which is predisposed more to dance. And then, interestingly, if they've come to the local rink, they've fallen in love with the sport, they find that the coaching staff are centered around ice dance, then that level of performance skill has to be extracted out of them, whether they have a predisposition to it or not, because this discipline really does require so much more performance.
Yeah, you might be shy off the ice, but you cannot be shy on the ice and be in this discipline. No. That's for sure. You have to be a little bit of a show-off.
Yeah, then I suppose it then comes down to coaches' music choice and theme choice for the free dance, to try to pick something that stylistically and creatively is best suited to the humans that they're teaching or choreographing.
Yeah, and make them feel comfortable in what they're going to portray. So, that is the choice, and that's the difficulty in the coaching of all the disciplines, really, is understanding where is your student at in their growth and maturity and their development, both physically and psychologically, and understanding that will help you choose better what they need to be successful with. So we are in the final minute of the warm-up for Group 1. There are 4 groups in this event, 21 teams. No, pardon me. 20 teams.
And we can see already, Ted, that in this group, the very first group, just the costume choices indicate that there's going to be a very big disparity in the theme choices.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mark, just a quick question. How much trouble would you be in if you said that you're going to commentate tomorrow with me? No. Big trouble, right?
From the wedding location, the family wedding.
Okay.
I think some members of the family might be fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. The free dance, the final event, day 2 here in Egna.
And the first team to start the free dance section of the ice dance competition, representing Brazil, Catarina Guedes-Tibau and Caden Oliver Dawson.
The second event, 11th in the Cup of Riga, a little earlier in the Junior Grand Prix, and 70.83 personal best at that competition. They'd like to finish the season with an increase in that number. Skating to the time of my life, these arms are mine, and do you love me?
Well, fabulous finish and showcasing their musicality throughout and managing the perfectly timed clap to finish the free dance.
What a good choice of music for this team. You know, at the stage of development they're at, they were able to do this, you know, really well, have a lot of fun with it as well. Good choice, good choreography. Nicely done.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a theme choice that's kind of fail-safe. It makes it very clear and easy for a judging panel to know what is meant to be delivered, and that they did. And I thought the team, really good job. Not sure if Caden caught his blade within the first half rotation of that twizzle. That's the necessity for that feature to be counted.
Down to level 3 for Caden on that. And here's straight line lift.
Really clear. He in the difficult position for the takeoff, difficult position for the lift. Really good job. And this, the 1 foot turns that were perfectly phrased with the start of another music change. And one of the reasons this Dirty Dancing piece is so well used is because it has so much variation within the music, perfectly bookending and bookmarking the different elements as they look now to the rotational lift towards the end of the program, and that too got the level 4. We'll just see for this team as the competition progresses, just a little bit more quality in posture and knee bend and extension, but they look rightly happy as they are joined by their coach Marc-André Servant in the kiss and cry, and they've already scored the minimum free dance scores at Riga for Junior World Championships. They didn't quite manage the minimum technical element score required for Junior Worlds in the rhythm dance, so I'm sure the team and the coaches will push forwards as the season progresses to try and attain that at another international.
Yeah, they look thrilled to be here, and I thought that was a really good performance for this stage of development that they're currently at. They only get better. They got some pretty good individual skating skills. It's just mileage and time together, and that's always a rare commodity. You just need to spend the time. But you need to have the facilities, and of course, you do have access to that as well.
And their coaching staff also responsible for Nadia Bashinska and Peter Beaumont. So in day-to-day training, I'm sure Katerina and Caden will have the good fortune of seeing other teams that can inspire them and motivate them to more.
Yeah, they're in a great environment, so you know they're well served as they move forward. Let's take a look at the free dance score, 58.98. Of course, first team out in the free dance. And they have a total competition score of 96.81.
And a complete departure now. The next team will use music from Cabaret for the Spaniards, Eloanne Ogor and Raul Bermejo.
Yeah, their first Junior Grand Prix season, second event, 21st at the Solidarity Cup in Gdansk. Looking to top their 60.66, and as Mark said, they'll skate to Cabaret.
Well, great fun in their second outing on the Junior Grand Prix Series this year for the Spanish team, Eloanne, Ogor and Raul Bermejo.
Well, you can't help but smile always with the music of cabaret. You know, it just tells you what to do with your choreography and your energy.
And, you know, it's a great choice insofar as there's plenty of easy reference. I'm sure that Eloanne will have looked at the character of Sally Bowles and tried to use that as her muse for their free dance. But it's one thing seeing it, it's another thing interpreting it. And I thought that the choreographic character step at the end looked like Raul was just totally in the moment, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and you know, it's harder as you're just learning the skating skills and the partnerships to deal with something a little bit deeper. So this is a good piece to go to. You know, people know the music, they know the rhythm, they understand the story. As we look at the trizzles here, they're in at a level 2 for both Eloanne and Raul. So a little slip there, but hung on to it nicely.
Raul did 5.5 rotations in the first, she 4. Only 4 required for level 4. Not sure who did the extra or not. As we see the straight line left. And this, the beginning of the choreo character step, and you can see Raul's face. But both partners really committed, aiming for the judges. The teams can choose to start near the judges or away from them.
Yeah, and there's no hiding on that element because the judges see everything because you're coming either at them or you're going away from them directly. So that's the acting part, if you will, plus the skating skills and performance skills right in front of the judges. Always, it's the part I enjoy the most, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think, and that's a great addition, that ISU, Ice Dance Technical Committees, offering skaters lots of options choreographically in the choreo character step. I think a popular favourite for almost all of the teams on the circuit.
We have seen some great creative work in that area. So nice when the team comes off the ice and happy with their performance.
This team also taught by Roxane Petitin, French ice dancer. She's currently at a senior team event, a senior challenger event. So as is the case with so many of these ice dance teams, their coaches will have other competitors competing now at this busy competition time in the season, whereby the coaches have to divide their time, and that's why a coaching team is just such a necessity now.
Yeah, it's so important. And we see a lot of coaches on the Junior Grand Prix starting this next 4 years leading up to the Olympic Games. They want to get their next generation of young skaters experienced and work with them. But they still have seniors going out on the Challengers and pretty soon the Senior Grand Prix event, which will start next weekend, Skate America. And then they move on to Skate Canada. So it just continues on weekend after weekend. There's very few weekends that don't have an ISU competition happening or a challenger somewhere around the world. So lots of skating for people online. And, you know, before there was no streaming, of course, and now there's streaming of pretty much every competition. You can watch a lot of skating throughout the season, that's for sure. Let's take a look at the freedance scores for Eloanne and Raul from Spain, 58.39. And that will put them in second place. They are the second team out. But that's in first place overall, pardon me, the total competition score, 98.76. And they'll take over the lead for the moment.
And the third team to compete their free dance from Hungary, Maya Benkiewicz and Mark Shapiro.
Maya and Mark, 69.41, earning that of the Solidarity Cup, as they will skate their free program to Modern Times by Charlie Chaplin.
Such a shame there. The straight line left at the end of the program for Maja Benkiewicz and Mark Shapiro not working. It's just really such a tragedy after what was a wonderful character step sequence as the penultimate element of the program.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look what happened there. It looks like he just bent a little bit too far forward to start that lift and just got off balance, and can see coming off the ice a little disappointment, obviously.
And interesting, Ted, this is a team where Maja born in France, as we see the synchronized twizzles here for the team, and Mark born in Moscow and representing Hungary. And we've seen so many teams coming from Villard-de-Lans in France, and I think that so conscious of the effort from the coaching staff there to support the skaters and find opportunities for them, and wonderful for Maja and Mark to get the chance to represent Hungary here in the Junior Grand Prix. And sorry, go on, Ted.
No, you really do see teams mix up from different countries, of course. There's a process around all of that, but they don't, although they represent Hungary, they don't always come both members from Hungary. So, but that happens all over the world.
It's so common, and it's so difficult to find. It's really challenging to find a partner. There aren't masses and masses, particularly of male ice dancers, and so then it's absolutely notorious and a given that many teams will be a formation of different nationalities just to find somebody of your correct height and standard as we look at this choreo character step. And I thought, watching this, the team must have had so much fun, and they do it so well. They really did that brilliant.
Let's see what happened. Yeah. Wow, the change of position, the skate just released from his legs, maybe a little early. Don't know if that was just a slip, but you know, you're a team in partnership, and you succeed together, and you have challenges together as well. So that was unfortunate at the end of the program. It just sort of hits you emotionally a little bit more because you had a good program going, and then a mistake there at the end.
But they're really fortunate to have found each other, really fortunate to have a team behind them, as they're seen here with Coach Mahir Chantelauz, and they have people behind them supporting them to experience events like this. And if they stick together, work hard together, then it's a guarantee that they'll go on to experience many more incredible opportunities.
And the challenge is you have to look past the difficult days and continue to stay together. Otherwise, you restart, and then you restart, and then you restart, and you never get enough time with any one partner. So it's like any relationship. You have your rocky days, but you gotta stay through and hang in there, because you can sort it out in time. But for the most part,
and so many of the world's top teams now are teams that have been competing together, skating together, competing together for a decade or more, such as the time required not just to be wonderful skaters individually, but then the foundations of your partnership as a couple.
Absolutely. Yeah. Teamwork is absolutely everything, and sometimes it's just easy to give up because you're disappointed in something, but you can't. I mean, sometimes you have to. It's the reality of life, I suppose, but long term, you got to stick at it. Of course, you know, quite a few reviews, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reviews out of the 8 elements. They are now finished that reviews, and the judges putting their scores in now for the PCs. So we will see these scores come up in just a few moments. Of course, their personal best, 69.41, and they won't come close to that here today. And that, again, will just add to the disappointment.
But as we end the Junior Grand Prix Series now, and it's not a team looking forward to the final, so they will then presumably compete at some other international competitions with an aspiration to compete, I'm sure, at Junior World Championships. And they'll return to the training rink with Karine Aribert and Mahir, their coaches, and just build from this.
They're going to need to work as a team a little bit better. It's a little frosty in that kiss and cry right now. It really is. And you know, and I know that these kids are young, but at the end of the day, that's your partner. You need to support your partner through the good days and bad days. It's an important lesson, and you need that. Freedance scores, it's 57.81 for Maja and Mark. That's third in the free dance with the total competition score of 98.64, and that'll put them currently into second place overall.
The fourth team competing in Egna in the free dance competition from Turkey, Jillian, Prever, and Agahan Berk.
Jillian and Agahan, 64.91 at the Solidarity Cup. Well, that's their top free dance score, hoping to finish this Junior Grand Prix season on a high, breaking that mark as they will skate to Goodbye Lenin soundtrack.
Jillian, Prever, and Agahan Berk, Dortkol.
Gosh,
immediately.
I thought that was really well done, Mark.
Yes. And I think, Ted, immediately we could see from some of the opening strokes just a little bit more quality and fundamental skating skills from Jillian and Agahan than that of the other teams that we've seen so far.
Yeah, certainly every team has their own level. And so the question is, did they perform to their level? And I think this team absolutely did. We didn't see any major mistakes. They kept with the music. They had sensitivity to it. And sure, everything can be better. No question of that. And they'll continue to work on this. But I thought it was really well done. Here's a look at the 1 foot section, level 1 for Jillian, level 2 for Agahan.
And this, a real benchmark for the skating skills of each individual partner within the 1 foot turns. And this, the curved lift with Jillian upside down in a difficult hold, and the 1 foot exit. Clear and easy callable level 4. And they had a wobble. They kind of collided in this warm-up on the twizzles. So although this wasn't perfect, it was better than warm-up.
Yeah, they hung in there for this at level 3 for both Jillian and for Agahan. As we take a look at their final slide, choreographic slide, move right into the end pose. There's your friend, John Kerr.
Yes. And John has been with the team since, well, they've been in Europe since the Solidarity Cup in Gdansk a fortnight ago. And as I mentioned, in the rhythm dance, they trained in Torino with Sylvia Novak as well. And wonderful to see them here skate a clean free dance to end their European adventures at this stage in their career, and then return back with John to train with Alper Ukar, their other coach in Florida. And Alper, he himself, Turkish ice dancer at Olympic level. So John did represent Turkey, but he's proudly supporting his team here.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching John and listening to him and working with him on the practice sessions. Keeps a really good sense of humor, keeps everybody balanced, not too serious and stressed, at the same time organized. And he's been at the highest level as an athlete, and so he's been through what it's like to be managed, and now he has some ideas how to manage his teams as they continue to progress. Let's take a look at the freedance scores for Jillian and Agahan. Season's best, 68.73, and that's first in the freedance with a total competition score 112.25, and that'll put them currently in the first place.
Ukrainian women's competitor cheers on the Ukrainian ice dance team of Zoe Larson and Andrii Kapran.
Both 19 years old. This is their very first Junior Grand Prix event. So great experience gained here as they skate the free program tonight.
passionate intensity from Zoe Larson and Andrii Kapran from Ukraine.
I really like this team. I think there's lots of growth, obviously, technically, to happen over the next little while, but there is a connection between the two and a passionate performance. Lots of good skating skills and reach and range of their choreographic moves. It's not all coordinated yet. It's not all in synchronization. You saw in the twizzles a little bit out of sync in some of the other parts of the program, but when it comes to emotional connection, they have it. Let's take a look at some of the elements in the program here.
And we've touched already on the combinations and finding a partner and how challenging that can be. And Andrii from Kiev, Zoe was a pair skater in the US as we look at the curve lift, combination lift choice for this team. And they found a great match in each other, training now with Marina Zoeva. And the combination of their mutual passion and talent and skill level, plus that esteemed coach, serves them in good stead. As we see the twinkles, you can just see a little sink on the first rotation.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time, really. You can see that rotation, not their favorite direction, but that's just going to take a little bit of time and a lot of training.
And we've seen lots of good junior teams on the Junior Grand Prix already from the Ukraine. But the Ukrainian senior champions, Nazarova and Nikitin, I understand they have now retired. So this couple, with Zoe now 19, they'll be looking to move up to the senior ranks next season. And they have a very senior look about them already, despite their short time together. Yeah, they do. And it's just going to be time and training and some more competitive experience to be able to really legitimize their senior qualities. You can see some of it there. You have to look a little deeper, but it's there. And they're Teo Zani, I think he's here to help them. Not their coach, Marina Zoeva listed as their main coach. Well, there's no seasons or personal bests, of course. And their top score so far in the competition, 65.48, so they need to top that to take over the lead. And they have a 73.22. That's first in the free dance. With 120 points for the competition, Zoe and Andrii take over the lead for the moment. As we go to group number 2, as they take the ice, here's a look at the start order for this group. Ted, we have had other questions coming through, and we're still keen and interested to hear from you. Online, contact the ISU on their YouTube and social media channels, and please, any questions you may have, we would love to hear from you. Just remember, those Mark will not be on the broadcast tomorrow, so don't send me any questions. Okay, just kidding. Sorry, go ahead, Mark. Yeah, have some questions there. Well, if this is the last chance, make the most of it, guys. Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the questions, how do young skaters who train in a foreign culture deal with homesickness? And I think, Ted, that's really interesting at the moment because we're seeing so many teams who have competed in near back-to-back events who have perhaps been away from home for a prolonged period, and it's a whole other aspect of life education that is a part of being a competitive figure skater. Yeah, I think the passion is so great for the sport that when you're at that level and you want it that bad and you're prepared to put your body through everything it has to go through the sport, you'd pretty much learn how to put up with anything. And I think, of course, they miss home. No question. They miss mom and dad and probably the brothers and sisters and cats and dogs and everybody that's included in the family. But the pursuit of a dream and the pursuit of a passion and something you enjoy every day makes it a little bit more acceptable. I won't say easy, but you're probably conflicted at times. But if you love it that much, you'll stick with it. And I think that's what we see generally. And if you don't, then you probably will end up to retire early. Not easy. Completely. And for some, it's not a way of life that's justifiable to them because there are such huge sacrifices in life. But yet, we're looking at the juniors, so we're looking at skaters who are all 21 or younger, and in the midst of their training and the sacrifices they make, it's hard to appreciate how fortunate they are to have this indulgence of time in their life to follow their passion. But from almost all of the skaters that I know that I have either trained with or competed against or now work with professionally, almost all of them will say, oh, you know, what a lovely time of my life that was to be...
Yeah.
Selfish isn't the right word necessarily, but focused, single-minded in your pursuit.
Yeah, you're representing your country and your family and your friends, and you're traveling around the world. It's, you know, it's not a bad trade-off. But but it is tough. It is tough, and so we appreciate. And generally, they're surrounded by, as we take a look at the coaches and the team members and whatnot, they're surrounded by a lot of support when they're living in a different country. As we get a little guy sneaking in the back of the picture there.
Yeah, the number of people behind the athletes, and maybe, well, I was going to say more so the ice dancers, but maybe that's just because there are two of them. But there tends now no longer to just be one solitary figure of the main coach. There is a team, and you know, if you're fortunate to come from a skating nation like Canada, as Marianne Huber and William Odson in this group do, they have a team leader, they'll have sometimes a physiotherapist, they'll have a doctor. So many people behind and supporting on site these competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question, Ted, coming in on Instagram from @LouisMSkates. Who did you look up to when you skated?
Well, my era was really your John Curry and Tyler Cranston era. So, I mean, and Ron Shaver, you have to look up, that's from Canada, of course. Those skaters were breaking new territory, new ground in performance and also technical skills to a certain degree. We had figures in those days, so, you know, that took, 3 hours or a day, 4 hours for a day. So, really, that era, your John Curry and Tyler Cranston and whatnot. So, yeah, that was my era. You're a lot younger, so who did you look up to?
Well, gosh, I think any British skater has to look up to the great Torval and Dean, who are the Olympic champions in '84, but still national heroes, still pioneering new ideas for figure skating here. But I think when I was competing as a single skater, I remember the time that I was single skating, there was a 5-time world champion from the States, Michelle Kwan, and interesting, there's a lot of debate about the fact that we haven't perhaps had the same consistency of legends made, and that's a good or bad thing. The sport now has so many new faces, but that was an era where we had somebody on top of their field for 5 world titles, and I think that helped to develop a real fan base and appreciation for that skater, which was an exciting time to be a fan of the sport.
Yeah, Robin Cousins also during that era, the British skater, he was a fantastic jumper and just a dynamic performer as well, so...
I think he had like a world record for the longest axle ever. The ice coverage that he had,
massive.
I dare say now could still be the best ever.
Just hung in the air.
No, maybe not. Robin might not say he could do that still now, but certainly the record would still last against anybody now.
Exactly. Here we go. Group number 2 in the free dance. Medals will be awarded tonight.
And the next team representing Germany, 14-year-old Mia Lee-Meyer and 17-year-old Tobias Hubert.
70.66, earning that at the Volta Cup last week in Gdansk. Say we'll skate to One Night in Bangkok, the story of chess.
Mia Meyer and Tobias Huber from Germany. And Ted, I think it's interesting that in back-to-back competitions, you can see such a strength of improvement from this team, despite the fact that they will not have had the same level of training time on the ice as they would perhaps normally in their training environment in Oberstdorf. But the competition experience can really accelerate the progress within the season.
Yeah, again, you have to measure as a coach and as a team, you know, where do you need to spend your time on training or gaining experience? You need both. There's no question of that. But when you have two competitions back-to-back, it's probably a good bet to take that, even though you may be losing some training time. You take a look at, missed the first part of the twizzle, sorry about that. Here's the touching part, and then second set of twizzles right here. And both in at level 4 for Mia Lee and for Tobias. Well, this is very small plus GOE on the twizzles.
And it's a really good skate from the young German team, and you can see in the slow motion replay just not this complete synonymity in their types of skating skill, and that will develop as time goes on together as a team. You know, it's a real cue just to get a partnership, to get to this stage, find a partnership that works with the right locations, the right ages, the right physical matches. Then it's, you know, then we have to look deeper at finding time to be completely in unison through all of their movement choices and patterns and styles. And sometimes that's not possible in the off season because they're so busy preparing the elements required and the choreography required to compete at this stage.
Yeah, we're watching the final product here. We don't know how it gets built. Well, we have an idea how it gets built, but the general public don't. So it's complicated putting two people together from different parts of the world, perhaps, and different cultures, maybe even different school schedules, everything, and just getting it all coordinated, and then learning how to skate as a team, as one. And it's just time consuming and it's detailed. It takes a tremendous amount of management as well as coaching as well. Let's take a look. The freedance scores for Mia Lee and Tobias from Germany. Their season's best is 70.66, and they fall a little bit short on that here at a 68.44. That's third in the freedance. Total competition score 115.27. That'll move Mia Lee and Tobias currently into second place overall for the moment.
The first of 3 Italian ice dance teams competing here. This is Alice Pizzorni and Massimiliano Bucciarelli.
15 and 18 years old. We'll skate to Torn Redux high-strung soundtrack.
What a shame for Massimiliano. Bucciarelli, just a fall towards the end of the Twizzles. And when they started, Ted, I was thinking, looking down at the stats and wondering, why is this team here? They look so strong and their
really,
body awareness.
Same thing. I thought so, yeah. And, it was, it must be concerning as Alice comes out of the Twizzles and sees her partner lying on the ice because she hadn't seen him go down. And she turned forward. But they had a great start to this program, really powerful and intense and dramatic, and they skated really well. A little weaker partway through, of course.
And they competed at the Egna Dance Trophy this year, and they were 15th in juniors there. And so I was thinking, they look really body aware, really strong, good quality component scores, I thought. But then maybe, who knows, they haven't submitted much on their ISU biog, Ted, so it's hard to get intel on them. I need to stop them a little bit more as to why they haven't been on the Junior Grand Prix before. But I think certainly a senior potential if they can continue to work hard and train together.
Oh, for sure. They have the strength and the energy. There's no question. It's not all coordinated yet, and it still looks like a new to them a little bit. But there's no question the skating skills are there. Of course, can be honed a lot better. There's the Twizzles drifted a little bit far apart. Let's see what happens here. The second set. Coming right there, maybe.
The only blessing for him, he fell in time with the music. It was spectacularly
right here
in sync.
Yeah, just lost his balance totally as Alice takes a look. What are you doing down there?
It's not part of the choreo.
No. But difficult to have that happen at the end. But I love the passionate performance. They'll be disappointed with that, and that's completely understandable. But this team has got some senior qualities still yet to be constructed and developed, but they have a future, that's for sure.
And the challenge really is for Massimiliano not to be too despondent.
Yeah.
It's been, the scores are so tangible for the skaters. They, see the score and dictates their feelings so much, but beyond the numbers is, we can see potential.
Yeah, and the hard thing is to believe. As when you're disappointed with something you've done, you don't necessarily believe that you can get better. You have to believe. 68.45. That's third in the free dance for a total competition score of 115.91, and that'll put Alice and Massimiliano in second place overall for the moment.
From one Italian junior ice dance team to another, from Como, Giorgia Galimberti, and from Sesto San Giovanni, Matteo Libas Mandeli.
Well, 16th at the Junior World Championships last season, 18 and 21 years of age, 84.61 personal best last year in Krasnoyarsk Junior Grand Prix, looking to top that right now as they skate to Romeo and Juliet.
Great choreographic dance lift to end the free dance for Giorgia Galimberti and Matteo Lebas-Mandelli from Italy.
Some nice energy throughout this program, some pretty good skills as well. A little scrambly in some places, but overall pretty solid performance. Their personal best is 73.87, and they might top that here. And hear the appreciation from the home crowd.
And with Matteo Lebas turning 21 years old last Friday, this team will be looking to move up to the senior ranks. And Charlene Guinar and Marco Fabri, the Italian senior champions, looking to close in on a World Championship medal this season. So that will open up more opportunities for Italian senior dancers in the future to compete at the Senior World Championships as well.
Yeah, they're going to need these juniors to continue to develop into seniors to fill those ranks as new juniors come up here in Italy. Dance is an important discipline, a successful discipline here in Italy. It's greatly supported the development of dance at the Olympics and Worlds for many years. Italian teams always seem to be near the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we spoke about in the rhythm dance, so many senior ice dance teams from Italy being supremely successful. They haven't had that same level of medal success at Junior World Championships, but foundations being laid, and that very evident here. And this team, they come into the rhythm dance lower down in the rankings, but they have a very senior aesthetic about them. It's almost like, they might not do so great at the junior rankings, but they already look like they're meant to be in the senior competition. Yeah,
true. The basics of this team is senior quality. They have the strength and the power and the presence and the maturity. They just need the time to continue to improve and hone those skills that are required at the senior level.
But the choreo dance lift to finish, and it's not common when we spoke about the choreographic elements, 2 choreographic elements for the juniors, and most of them using the choreo character step sequence, but not this team, playing with the options presented to them as they're joined by Lorenza Alessandrini, their coach.
Season's best at 75.64. They seem pretty happy with that. That's first in the free dance. Total competition score 123.89 as Giorgia and Matteo Lebas take over the lead at this point in the competition. And he finally got the hint. Let's have a seat. Here we go.
So we go from a 21-year-old in the Italian team now down to the youngest ice dance team in the competition, Britain's Ashley Slatter and Atul Ongay-Perez.
They've been a lot of fun to watch in the practice session. 78.29 personal best, skating to Heart of a King.
brilliant intricacy in the transitional content right through to the end of this stationary lift for the British team, Ashley Slatter and Atle Ongay-Perez.
I think this team has something unique and special. It's deep down at the moment. You can see there's lots of polishing to be done, but it's very young. I mean, 13 and 15 years of age, and to have that maturity of performance and wonderful posture, you know, that bodes extremely well for this team as they continue to develop in juniors for, I would think, a number of years. So we take a look at the coach, Pippa, who I got to meet today. What a charmer she is. Had a lot of wonderful conversation, great sense of humor. As we watch some of the elements here, I just enjoyed watching this young team in practice session skate with such energy and such passion. So happy to be here as we take a look at the entrance into the Twizzles.
So much speed, difficult entrance at the Twizzles. The spread eagle there in between too. Little bit tricky there through. But we've talked about the time it takes for an ice dance team to really excel as they move towards the senior ranks. This couple have been training together for some years already, and that's thanks to the support they have from their coaching team to foster a long-term ice dance team. And I think that will be a huge attribute to their success moving forwards, and hopefully they will be following the footsteps of Becker and Hernandez, the British team who were the first to gain a medal on the Junior Grand Prix series for any British ice dancers this year. Yeah, you can't replace time. You just simply need time. No matter how good your partner is, you still need time to learn about them. And so it's so important to keep these young skaters together as they gain experience and develop a relationship. And you can see smiles all around and the kiss and cry. And the coach, Philippa, is godmother to Ashley as well. And Ashley was flower girl at Pippa's recent wedding. So there's just, so many threads invested together between the coaching team and between the skaters to support, and it's lovely to see. Yeah, a lot of fun to watch. Let's take a look at the freedance scores for Ashley and Ongay-Perez from Great Britain. 73 points for the freedance is third. The total competition score of 121.52, and that will move this team currently into second place overall. And there's a look at your top 5 teams so far. And the next team representing Canada, Marianne Hubert and William Odson. 81.42, personal best of the Czech skate, as they will perform to Photograph by Cody Fry. Such delicacy at the end for Marianne Hubert and William Odson from Canada.
Yeah, nice job. What a beautiful song that is. So sensitive in their performance.
I completely agree. I think it's beautiful music. I loved it when they performed at their first Junior Grand Prix assignment in Ostrava, and perhaps loved it even more here. And great that it's a piece that has the variation and energy that is required for a free dance.
I greeted coming off the ice, but Kim Weeks done a wonderful job with all her teams, and such hard work. And from Alberta, there's quite a few teams there as we look at that beautiful stationary lift that's in at a level 3 with a plus GOE of 1.10. We now look at the twizzles. Good speed coming in, just a little bit of a bobble there, a little bit out of sync, but not badly at all. Level 3 for Marianne and level 4 for William on the set of twizzles.
And when we watch the singles competitions, Ted, and we see generally there tends to be an increase in the planned program content difficulty for the single skaters. With the ice dance team like Marianne and William, all of the planned program content designed to get the highest of levels. It's just now a cleanliness in their skating skill, and it's much more the long haul that needs to be worked on for the junior ice dancers. They can attain the likes of level 4 twizzles, as William did here, relatively quickly in their development. It's then just that skating skills development, the kind of easy go-to for any coach to reference for their improvements, just the fundamental basics. But right now, they look delighted to be here, and rightly so. They've represented themselves, their coaches, and their families really well.
You can see they're smiling in the kiss and cry. They're happy with that performance. And great experience, his second Junior Grand Prix this season. And you never really know how much you've gained until you go home and start to take your memories with you and those areas that you want to improve on, and the thrill of representing your country and say, I want that maple leaf on my chest again. I want to go back out and represent my country. You work extra hard because now you understand where you're at in the world. And it's such a great experience, even though sometimes it can be a negative one at the moment if you don't skate well. It's positive long term and so important for the growth of these athletes long term in their careers. Let's take a look at the freelance scores for Marianne Hubert and William Odson of Canada. 80.86. They're happy with that. That's first in the free dance. Total competition score 130.70 as Marianne and William take over the lead after two groups. Nicely done. There it is. Well, now the last ice resurfacing as I throw to the video man. Mark, this is your last throw to the videos as we go to break. Take it away.
I should give it even more aplomb, Ted, given that it's the last one.
Yeah.
But the first of the videos, in this ice resurface is an interview with Mr. Mark Henretti, conducted by Mr. Ted Barton. So that'll be new voices for you all to listen to. And then we head to the Center of Excellence in Detroit for a look at the toe loop jump before the final video on this penultimate day of competition in Egna, the trailer for the World Ice Skating Day, which takes place on the 4th of December.
Okay, we'll take a short break. The final break of the day. We'll be back right after this. Well, here in Gdansk for the final day of competition, I've been your host, Ted Barton, along with Mark Henretti, and he is my new interview here. Mark, this is your first year on the Junior Grand Prix. You've done a fantastic job. It's been so much fun working with you. We've seen some really interesting skating, and you've been to some special visits, special towns and competitions. I've worked this from home. What are your impressions, your thoughts on your first Junior Grand Prix season?
So many thoughts, so many impressions, and having previously commentated on senior events, it was fascinating to see how unique the Junior Grand Prix circuit is. And I've loved being in an environment that seems so supportive, and skating it's a solitary pursuit. It has an element of dog eat dog, and yeah, I'm really conscious here that there's a family of sorts all encouraging the very personal best of each and every skater, and it's really been a joy. And I feel now, as we head towards the latter stages of the Junior Grand Prix, a real eagerness to see these athletes continue to develop, and I'm excited to see what will happen for their futures.
Now, do you have any highlight moments that you experienced? It doesn't have to be a competitive moment, but any highlights for yourself?
I think it's wonderful to be able to have the opportunity to either congratulate some of the skaters who've been brilliant, or there have been a couple of little occasions when I've known that a skater has had one of those horrible performances where they just feel crestfallen and despondent, and then as we rush to grab a coffee, I've maybe seen them in the skaters' lounge afterwards, and the chance to personally say to them, it's okay, been there, done that, you know, your life goes on. I've really, really enjoyed the ability to give some personal support to them as well. That's been a highlight, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I've enjoyed the most over the first 7 years that we did this, is that it wasn't about covering the event only. It was about contributing to that journey with those athletes and helping them through the tough moments and celebrating through the great moments. And it is a big family here, and you can feel that camaraderie. So now looking forward, what's the difference between commentating in the juniors here and commentating in the seniors?
Well, the senior events,
be careful.
Yeah, the senior events are definitely easier to commentate on. You don't have what seems like the double marathon. We had 48 women in this event here, 49 women compete in the junior free skate last week, and that's like 2 free skates at Senior World Championships put together. So that in itself is pretty intense. The seniors, we know what to expect a little bit more. These are athletes that we've watched for numerous seasons, so we know what's coming. This has excitement because it is so unpredictable. But I look forward to seeing the seniors, and hopefully what will be a year that starts some new exciting names on the senior circuit at the beginning of a new Olympic cycle.
Well, as you continue on, of course, these juniors will become the seniors that you cover as well. That's what I look forward to in the seniors, is all those skaters in the senior circuit we've covered in juniors for years. So it's kind of fun to watch their whole journey. This is the first year of the journey of these young juniors for you. So, Mark, you've done an outstanding job. You've been great research. You're constantly researching. You're asking people questions. You're just all over the place getting more information. And I know you have a passion for the juniors, as do I. And so it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much for being part of the Junior Grand Prix.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Mark Henry, Ted Barton from Gdansk.
Hello, welcome to ISU Center of Excellence in Michigan. My name is Yuka Sato from Detroit Skating Club, and today we're going to talk about toe loop. Toe loop is one of the toe jumps. It takes off on the outside edge, and you're going to toe in and you're going to jump. Now, it can be a single, double, triple, or quadruple. So let's talk about the technique. Most important thing is the rhythm, especially with the toe jumps. If you have a nice rhythm and you just, everything goes together, and that turns into the explosiveness, which will make you jump high, and it will be light as a feather, and you can rotate very fast and land. I find that it's very important to have a nice, strong position as you tap in. Where your toe pick is, not too far into the circle, not too far outside of the circle. It must start your rotation going backwards. because a lot of times people mistake by going toe axle, and that's not where you want to be. You want to make sure that you take off backwards, back outside, so that you can actually push off into a nice rotation. Toe loop is also used as a combination jump very often. Now, the key is to make sure that the landing of your first jump is very nice and steady so that you can actually go right into the jump. I hope you enjoyed this video and good luck with your skating.
Welcome back, everyone, to Egna, Italy. Day 2 of competition here. Final 2 groups in the free dance Medals will be decided in these next teams and also the Junior Grand Prix final participants as well. So lots of pressure, lots of stress.
Some great teams in this penultimate group in the free dance competition, and I can't wait to see again the team from Cyprus, Angelina Kudryavtseva and Ilya Karankovic, who had such a fun free dance that we saw at the Baltic Cup last week.
And there needs to be some movement in here by Hannah Lim and Ye Quan, currently in 4th place. They're going to need to move up to guarantee their spot to the Junior Grand Prix final. Same thing goes for Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Theron from Canada, currently in 5th place. So it's going to be very interesting. Close enough for sure for a move. But we're going to have to see what happens. The two American teams in front, of course, will have something to say about that.
And generally, there are less glaring and obvious mistakes in the ice dance competition as opposed to the pair skaters or the single skaters, but I wonder how the increased pressure will affect the teams competing. We have seen a few mistakes on the Junior Grand Prix series. These are young skaters still, less experienced than the seniors will watch on the Senior Grand Prix.
Yeah, for sure. And just as a note for everyone, of course, we will stay on air for the presentation of the medals, but this is Mark's final Junior Grand Prix event. He has something he has to do tomorrow. I was begging him to stay on, but evidently he can't. He'll be in trouble. And so we're going to do a little bit of a chat and a sign off for Mark on the Junior Grand Prix, get his impressions of his experiences over the last really 6 weeks of competition. And he's covered a lot of the seniors, of course, and this is his first rookie season on the juniors, and get his input, his thoughts as well. So if you have any questions of Mark Hanratty for the Junior Grand Prix, send them in now so we can go through them on the warm-up of the final group as well as our discussion as we go into the medal presentations. Of course, Mark, it's just been so great to have you on board. It's certainly made the job, or my job, a lot easier having a bright young brain as opposed to an old one, foggy one. That's me. Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a lot of fun as well. You know, you can work with a lot of people and be okay, but not really connect. And I think you and I connect, pretty well. You know when to, stand down and let the other one talk, where to step in, and we have both the same passion for the sport, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just been so much fun to work with you, Ted, and it does seem a bit odd to think, it may have been 6 events, and yet it has kind of consumed and taken over life. I don't know how you've done it for the last 8 seasons so amazingly well. It's been just, I need to reacclimatizing to reality a little bit.
Yeah, what makes it, the commentary during the event is fun, and that's, I don't want to say easy, but it's enjoyable. It's later writing the highlights, voicing the highlights, doing the interviews, getting the package. There's lots to go on, and we're only 2 people. You've got the whole crew here with the camera crew, the backstage crew. We've got a lot of, people working. Of course, we did have that question, by the way, does the cameramen move with the event? Yes, they do. So we, generally speaking, have always the same cameraman, so that's good. And so there's a whole cast and crew here to not only bring the live event, as you see right now, but also all the video that you'll see on social media over the next few days.
I don't know how I will go another week, though, Ted, without an education in Italian from the amazing guys that we've been working with, although perhaps...
Yes, they didn't educate you on all the proper terms, I know that. Yeah, good crew here. And, it's true as the crews that I worked with in the past were all English, and I've got the Italian crews here, so we don't really understand so much what's going on all the time, but we understand their laughter, and we hope it's just not at us, right? Their passion, exactly. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, that's for sure. Here we go. Group number 3, the free dance, as we get ever so close to determining the podium positions in the Grand Prix final, the Junior Grand Prix final ice dance competition.
Well, the first team to take to the ice, we chatted with them just before their free dance performance last week, and they signaled back to us in the kiss and cry. I wonder what kind of reaction this week. Wishing all the best to Noemi, Maria Tali and Stefano Frasca from Italy.
Well, 83.48, earning that last week at the Baltic Cup. As they take their positions here in their home country of Italy, hope for the best as they will skate to Vivaldi, the Four Seasons, Winter, and the Storm.
Italy's Noemi Maria Tali and Stefano Frasca offering an even better free dance than that of last week when they competed in Poland.
Yeah, I think they were energized by being here at home.
It's interesting, Tim. I'm not sure if it's because they've had the extra competition experience that they enjoyed in Gdansk, or perhaps it's because we're getting to see it again, but I just appreciated so much more some of the musicality and the energy of the team in this second outing that I have seen of them this season. And I assume this team will be eager to compete at Junior World Championships. They haven't done that before, and they look like they would fit in just brilliantly at that level.
Well, they look like they've gained experience even just as quickly as last week when, in Gdansk, they have more confidence now. Let's take a look at some of the elements in the program. As you can see, the starting position of the eyes are so totally focused.
This was perfect with the music, the synchronized twizzles, starting with the beginning of a new phrase of the Vivaldi music. And here you can see more similarity stylistically with the free leg foot placement, just an extra rotation there. It's the 1 foot turns. And if I was to critique at all, Ted, I just thought perhaps that Stefano fatigues a little bit towards the end of the program. His posture dips forwards ever so slightly, not quite as open.
And that lift is so difficult because it takes his strength once he gets her over and he has to hold her underneath. Just incredible. I've seen it better in practice session as we take a look at the choreo steps coming right at the judges.
Yeah, I love seeing it from this angle. And again, just maybe a little bit of tightness in the body as the body fatigues. All of the ice dancers eager to showcase the most open of postures. However, I thought that rotational lift at the end of the program looked like they could have done a back-to-back program. They looked, as you say, energized, perhaps by being here in Egna.
Well, 83.48 is their personal best and season's best this year. May not top that score right now.
Yeah, looks like level 1 for both in the diagonal step and the 1 foot turns as well.
The free dance score, 80.55. That's second in the free dance. And the total competition score of 130.47. And that'll put Noemi, Maria, and Stefano currently in the second place overall.
The next team were winners at the Lake Placid Ice Dance International earlier in the summer. This is their second Junior Grand Prix of the year. Elizabeth Tkachenko and Alexei Kilyakov from Israel.
13th at the Junior World Championships last season, 82.58 personal best at Czech skate. And they'll skate the free dance right now to Run Boy Run and Guns for Hire by Woodkid.
Israel's Elizabeth Tkachenko and Alexei Kilyakov.
Interesting angles in their positions, especially the last one. They weren't facing the judges, but they were presenting a sculpture in many ways in their final pose.
Good to see. Respecting each other. So lovely to see that from any ice dance team when they finish a performance, as they go to Alexei Kilyakov Sr., coach and father of part of the dance team. And I think this couple so strong, and as I said in the rhythm dance, they demonstrated such speed and confidence in the practices before the competition in Ostrava. It wasn't the optimal event for them. They had, Elizabeth had a bit of a bobble in the twizzles in the Czech Republic, so she'll be pleased and relieved, I am sure, to have had success here, relatively speaking. A little check in the rotation, so it dropped one level, but on the whole much better than their first Junior Grand Prix assignment.
And I kept this because I thought this was unique and different for an outside to start their spin.
Yeah, really cool. Difficult entry, change of pose, as Alexei initiates the rotation for the second part of their combination lift. The teams can do two different types of short lift, or they can choose instead, as this team did, one combination lift of up to 12 seconds as they work through the 1 foot turn to the back inside counter, forward inside bracket, changing edge, and finishing with a double twizzle. And really exploiting the new rules whereby the team can touch the ice as long as it's with control. And I love the fact that they really use that for Elizabeth here in the storytelling within their free dance. That totally allowed within the character step sequence. They won't incur a fall at all for that as part of their choreography. And I just think it's wonderful that the Ice Dance Technical Committees have opened up the creative license for the teams with the likes of that this year.
Yeah, it brings a whole new look, and it's kind of a, when they're coming right at the camera, right at the judging panel, kind of a peek deep inside the performance, which you can see a lot easier than going across the ice, and always enjoy that part of the dance. Let's take a look at the free dance scores for Elizabeth Tkachenko and Alexei Kilyakov of Israel, 81.16. That's first in the free dance, with a total competition score of 136 points as they take over the lead at this point in the competition.
So keep your eyes peeled for some brilliant creativity and novelty in the ice dance competition in this free dance by Angelina Kudryava-Tseva and Ilya Karankovic from Cyprus.
And they'll be skating to It's Tricky, How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees, and Get Ready for This by 2 Unlimited.
Well, such great fun from the team from Cyprus, Angelina Kudryavtseva and Ilya Krankovic.
Well, no question, innovative and unique. Their own style, quite a mix of music as well.
Yes.
And not like any of the other performances that we've seen on the Junior Grand Prix this season, of course.
And it's really interesting when you try to analyze the process as to why the team came up with this choice. It's not something that we have seen done before. It's not necessarily as safe or guaranteed to give them the results that they might like, but perhaps it's something that has just fueled their off-season with excitement and fun.
Yeah, it's not traditional, that's for sure, but that's what makes it different and unique, and you have to push the boundaries and take risks if you want to break new ground.
And interestingly, after the competition in Gdansk last week, whilst they may not have had a medal, I noticed more attention online pertaining to their performance than any other. So it may not get the medal haul that they want, but it's certainly getting a reputation, and that's what some other teams have done so brilliantly. We think of, I mean, the Deschenes, yeah, of course they were world medalists, or the Kerrs even. We've seen John Kerr here this week, and whilst they didn't get a world medal, they always had attention worldwide for their original approach, and that may be something that this team is pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're pleased with what you're doing. It's something unique and different and breaking new ground, and that you're happy with, even if it may not be seen or may not be at the level of the results that you want, but you did it your way.
And as we touched on in the rhythm dances, we see their choreo character step sequence. I can't talk over some of this brilliance. I love the double knee spin from Angelina here, and it was more comfortable looking than it was last week.
Yeah.
But they have technical element score that is relatively weak. They're not achieving the levels that they would have had last year when they finished 8th at Junior World Championships. So there's still going to be a very clear area of improvement for the team when they see the feedback from the technical panel, which is consistent now because it looks similar to what happened in Poland. But certainly they have some character that others don't.
The personal best is 90.41. The season's best is 87.49, and they may not meet that here. And they have to continue to improve and stick with it or make changes. They'll have to make that assessment throughout the season. 83.55. That's first in the free dance for Angelina and Ilya with a 138.47 as they take over the lead at this moment in the competition.
Another team from Villard-de-Lans in France, Louise Bordet and Thomas Juppolu.
82.29 personal best in Czech skate earlier this season. They'll perform right now to Under Pressure, Will Rock You, and another one, Bites the Dust by Queen.
said it before, Ted, and I'll say it again. I'd like a choreographic character step sequence created in Villard-de-Lans, because each of the teams that comes from there has such a fun choreo character step sequence, and that very evident for Louise Bordet and Thomas Jupoulou from France here in Egna.
Well, that can make such an impression, of course, and it's a highlight move right at the judges. They don't go past the blue lines, and so everything is seen. And I'm sure a lot of time is spent on that choreographed step sequence by a lot of coaches and skaters around the world. It's a little less skating, more dancing.
Yeah, really plays into the first two components the judges have to give. Not so much about the skating skills, but more that composition and presentation. You can just see here, only 2 to 4 steps must separate the first and second twizzle, but Louise struggled through there, and I think she touched down more than the required number of steps in between them. So that first element, and this was amazing, the recovery. Oh my goodness, the missed grab on that difficult entry into the straight line lift. Real testament to how long this team has been together. They've been competing for a few seasons now to have the confidence to work together and come back and not make it any issue at all.
Yeah, backing up away from the judging panel here. They can come out either at the judges or back away from them in the middle of the ice. Usually the teams will start across the ice at the boards and come towards the judges, but in this case it's reverse here. And they end it right there.
And it's tricky. I think generally perhaps some better skating skills than the Cypriot team that we've just seen, but the mistakes in the twizzle could be costly, and the rhythm dance was such a close event, so perhaps mistakes for the French team could see them dropping below.
Yeah, 82.29 is their season's best. They're going to come close to that. We'll see. They're going to need an 81.93 to take the lead. So it's going to be ever so close. We'll find out in just a moment.
But I just really thoroughly enjoyed the work of the skaters in Villard-de-Lans, and I suppose this is what I've been able to appreciate, Ted, on the Junior Grand Prix. You know, there are lots of skaters that we can really enjoy watching perform that maybe don't have the prerequisite skating skills for Junior World Championship titles or medals, but creating some creativity and musicality. I think that's one of the things I particularly like.
Well, you're seeing these teams under construction. I mean, that's the difference, is usually when you get to seniors, you're seeing sort of a finished product, a finished building. They've been years and years in the system. But we're seeing, you know, the foundation laid down and the walls being built up and the furniture being, you know, imported into the new house, if you will. We're watching these young teams and young skaters under construction over the years to becoming, you know, a finely polished product, which is unveiled in the senior category. Of course, even that takes a number of years as well.
Who has the, I suppose, the staying power and the patience, really?
Yeah, exactly.
The support of everybody around them.
Yeah, the patience. And it talks about teamwork, because you have to get along with people well enough and long enough to get the best out of anyone. And, of course, that, you know, grass always looks a little greener on the other side, but it rarely is. It's the sustained power that's important, of course.
This team of Louise and Thomas train alongside Selena Fragi and Jean-Han Furneaux, who have medalled twice on the Junior Grand Prix series, and they were top 10 at Junior World Championships last season. So 2 places for French ice dance teams at next year's Junior Worlds.
Well, let's take a look at the free dance score. 77.87. That is 5th in the free dance. Wow. With a total competition score 134.42. And that'll put Louise and Thomas currently into 3rd place. And there's a look at your top 5 on the leaderboard.
Resounding cheer for the Slovakian team, testament to the fact that they train here in Egna. for Anna Simova and Kirill Aksenov.
Fourth at Czech Skate Week number 2, 89.45 personal best in the free dance. And they'll skate to music by John Miles.
Well, there's a common denominator between Anna Simova and Kirill Aksenov and the leaders, and that is the same coaching staff, and they share the same incredible speed across the ice.
Yeah, really, I was impressed with their rhythm dance, the power and the speed. I didn't really know so much about this team, but they've made a great impression. I love that music as well. Good, strong individual skaters. Great speed and ice coverage throughout that dance.
Anna will be disappointed with the mistake in the twizzles now. After the event in Ostrava, she was visibly upset because we're just under a point and a half off third place and getting a Junior Grand Prix medal in the Czech Republic. And I wonder how costly that mistake on the twizzles will be for them here.
Yeah. It was a pretty big mistake on the second set. It's in at a level 2 for Anna, level 4 for Courchevel. So you take a look. One foot section.
1 foot turns. And I just thought, Ted, like the speed that they have is almost borderline aggressive in its delivery, but they match it up with beautiful line as well. So the clean leg extensions, good posture. So it negates that idea because it's just incredible quality. There you can see just 2 rotations done cleanly. So at most, that could be a level 2 for Anna. This went up perfectly on the musical accent for the curve lift. And you can see Courchevel working hard to get the rotations in at the second part of the lift combination. Having to keep it under 12 seconds. I think they had an extended lift deduction as well on Ostrava, so you can see the intensity to get that done. And the couples must train so hard, Ted, to have this level of energy towards the end of the program.
That's what I was thinking. They were just full of energy coming at the choreo steps right towards the judges. I thought, wow, right at the end of the program. As we saw the choreo lift end the program right there. Well, 89.45, their season's best. Not sure that they'll hit that here. They need an 81.26 to take the lead at this point in the competition.
There haven't been many personal bests for the ice dancers in the competition here in Egna. Hard to impress, perhaps, or high standards from the tech panel and judging officials here in Italy. And then it becomes more relative, doesn't it, Ted, in regards to the result. Scores might not be personal best, but the ordinal at the end of the day is what they'll be looking for. Yeah, but the scores matter to the skaters. They look to improve those scores and wonder why they don't in a performance that they felt was better, right? So it's a difficult mix of emotions. Let's take a look at the free dance score is 83.79. Of course, that is first in the free dance with a 141.01 as they take over the lead. And yeah, that's true. That's all that matters at the moment. And here it is, the final group entering the ice, and boy, they've got some great performances. And here's a look at the start order for group number 4 in the free dance. This will determine medals, but also Junior Grand Prix final spots as they take to the ice. Mark, I don't know about you, Ted.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say that I don't know how you can manage and knowing how to support all the skaters, because having seen so many of them compete and now knowing that there are others watching at home, I think, I just want everybody to get their desired objectives and to make the Junior Grand Prix final. It seems a shame that only 6 teams get that luxury.
Well, it is important that we are supportive to each team, no matter what level, no matter how much ice time they have or whatever coaches they have or how much adversities they've gone through. We call it like we see it at the stage of development. And in the end of the day, this is competition. And those skaters want to skate their best and beat their own scores, but they also want to reach the podium. They also want to reach the final. That's the reality of it. And there's going to be some people that are happy and some people that are not so happy. But that's all part of the learning experience of the juniors, because in the end of the day, they have to navigate their way through a senior career. And that is also very complicated and perhaps even more emotional, because more has gone in, longer period in your life to get to that senior level and maybe the Olympic Games. So learning how to cope with all of that at this level is also of great value. Mark, we have a question here from good colleague, good friend of mine, Sally Rehorka, Olympic judge, sent the question in for us both. Question to you both, with the various ways that you've done the Junior Grand Prix commentaries, which is the most difficult setup? Here's your options. 1 in the venue, 1 elsewhere. Neither in the venue. Oh, actually, we haven't done that one yet. Both in the venue, alone in the venue, alone, not in the venue. So, well, I don't know. You go ahead, Mark, first. What's the most difficult?
The most difficult is and not being on site. So for me, this is the only one that I've done remotely. And I mean, it's still a joy, still loads of fun, but I can't soak up the atmosphere to the same way, and I can't bounce off you quite the same way. So given the option, it would definitely be to be on site.
Yeah, for sure. I think we prefer to work side by side. We have the energy. We can cover more in the arena. We get different stories. And, of course, we help each other when it comes to the highlights or the interviews or whatever. So that's desirable and more enjoyable and probably more efficient. Having said that, when I did the Riga commentary and you were there on site, I just love the fact that you had to do all the work, and all I had to do was go upstairs and get my coffee and come down and chat with you through the performances. So, certainly I like the mixture. We get to do a little bit of both. So good question, Sally. And, it's been an experiment. The ISU Junior Grand Prix is research and development grounds for the ISU to try new things. And this we've tried to mix the technology with, live coverage. And having two people in the Junior Grand Prix has been really, for me, it's a huge win. And, of course, with you, Mark, it's just been a great joy. And this is your last group. We know you won't be covering tomorrow, but we'll be working together soon, I'm sure, hopefully. And it's been really a lot of fun. And this will end on an exciting 6 teams or 5 teams in this final group.
Yes, and for me, having only ever commentated remotely, to have been on site is so exciting, and I think I wonder if I've been spoiled by this experience, Ted, as we head towards the seniors. No,
it was hilarious to watch Mark. He's going, okay, who can I speak to next? Who can I speak to next? And then he gets somebody cornered, and then starts to go a list of questions to get background, which is fabulous because it adds to the commentary in a much more colorful way. It's just awesome. But, Mark has got this really nice way of engaging in conversation and asking questions as you lead them down the path to divulging.
Maybe a nice way to start until I've snared them, and then I can ask the juicy questions.
You should be working for MI5 or CIA or something. I mean, you're just a good interrogator, that's for sure. It's been great. Absolutely, a lot of fun. As we watch this final group and final few moments of the warm-up session, there's a look at the Czech team currently in first place by 10 points. Not close competition at all in that. And it's really hard, we mentioned yesterday, to watch for the speed as you're watching online, either on your computer or on TV. But in fact, with this team, you actually can see that speed because it's quite extraordinary.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they transcend into the senior ranks when the time is right for them, and remembering that is a team who've broken junior world records, but because of mistakes made in their national championships, they didn't compete at junior world. So, amazing to think that this team didn't represent the Czech Republic at junior world championship.
But some of those types of disappointments is what got them here now, because they didn't like that taste, and so they made sure that continued to improve. And more on that later as we start the final group in the free dance here, and yet day 2 of competition.
And the first group to take to the ice will include the birthday man for Quentin Thierry, who turns 19 today, alongside his partner Sandrine Gauthier.
They were silver medalists in Riga. They need a great skate to get on the podium here in 91.47. They'll skate to Any Other World and Sound of an Orchestra.
Well, congratulations to Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Thierrin celebrating his birthday today, and I think that a much better free dance performance for this couple than their silver medal winning performance in Riga at their first Junior Grand Prix assignment.
Yeah, I would say this is their best performance of the week here. I've been watching them in practice as well, and although very good, maybe not quite as comfortable with all the other teams on the ice, but here they skated open and free and powerful, and this was their best performance from my perspective anyways. Let's take a look at some of the elements in the program. Started off right away with a dance spin, Mark.
Yeah, and I think, Ted, that harder to set their Mika music doesn't have a theme as visible or evident or obvious as maybe some of the other thematic pieces that we've seen other ice dance teams use for their free dance. But it was pulled off much more here, perhaps just because more run-throughs and training, more mileage, and they carried their energy with conviction right to the end of the 3.5 minutes.
And I think this is actually a really good piece for them because they're not necessarily new, but they're still learning the partnership and developing the relationship. And I think to have something a little bit more dramatic and storytelling is a little bit more challenging. And so this was just a really nice piece of music, of which they skated really nicely too. So I think that was a smart move by a very smart team of coaches, that's for sure.
Yes, they're in great hands. And interesting, their coach here, Benjamin Brisebois, was explaining that obviously COVID impacted their ability to compete, and then a concussion for Sandrine prevented them competing as well. So they've been together a while, but they haven't had the competition experience. And you were talking about challenges. Wonderful to see that they've stuck together. And
absolutely.
Of that.
Had an interesting interview with Benjamin too. You'll see that tomorrow. Let's take a look at the free dance scores. 86.57. That's first in the free dance. Wow. Now they're fifth after the rhythm dance. Total competition score 144.05, and Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Thierrin from Canada take over the lead. 4 teams to come in the final group.
The next team share the same coaches as Gauthier and Thierrin, but representing Korea, Hannah Lim and Ye Quan.
Well, 99.25 personal best in Courchevel week 1 as they will skate to Danse Macabre.
of 10. I want to say it's like a masterpiece, but the word masterpiece seems too strong for a junior team, but I'm pretty sure this is a choreographic masterpiece. It's so good.
Well, it's been fantastic to see this team develop over the past 2 seasons, who won medals, the first medals for ice dance for Korea. Her presence on the ice is absolutely, at least for me, completely mesmerizing, but he frames her absolutely perfectly. He does, and so they're just a wonderful team and couple that's continuing to grow and to mature. Her performance level is senior, absolutely senior. There's lots of things to work on yet. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And of course this team will have found themselves very disappointed to be in 4th place after the rhythm dance, and it made me question, was I as impressed in Courchevel? Was that because that was the first event of the year? Was I jaded, not having perspective? But yet seeing this here today, no, that free dance performance at their first junior Grand Prix was no fluke. This is
that set of twizzles was just amazing to watch. This flip over lift. The foot's got to be right on the thigh, and it was. And she not only has her feet in the right place, but she's performing on top as well. And watch how quick and agile they are here.
And that was on music. That was so beautifully on music. And the range of emotion that she demonstrated, the characterization, almost crazy here, demonic in her eyes. It's amazing.
Demonic, it's true. When she brings her hand up like that, just fabulous. A great pickup on the rotational lift at the end of the program. All the elements, 1 plus GOEs, 1.9, 2.18, 1.46, 1.44, 2.23. So positive GEs are going to greatly add to the score. Let's remember, this has been a pretty tough panel, both on the technical, but consistent. And the judging panel, their personal best was 99.25. And I think they're going to come ever so close to that right here. They need an 85.05 to take the lead. And they have that. That's a 99.2 or 24, so 1/100th behind their personal best, 158.25, as they take over the lead in this competition. With 3 teams to come, and they'll need that score to hold up so they can climb onto the podium and guarantee their ticket to the Junior Grand Prix final in Torino. Outstanding
an early
work.
Birthday present for Ye. He's 21 tomorrow, so happy birthday, Ye.
Absolutely happy birthday.
Well, we head now to the top 3 teams after the rhythm dance.
And the plot thickens. Here we go.
Jenna Howard and Benjamin Starr from the United States of America get ready for their free dance.
It's getting to Peanut and my one and only love and Tied Down.
Your eyes just want to see.
big congratulations to Jenna Hauer and Benjamin Starr. They may have been surprised to find themselves in the bronze medal winning position after the rhythm dance. They've beaten two teams who have previously medalled, and yet any pressure they may have felt didn't show as they delivered a clean free dance here.
Yeah, that was interesting. They didn't seem nervous at all. They seemed in the moment, in their program, in their control. And that was nicely done.
And their third place ranking in the rhythm dance was largely due to a really strong technical element score, and that looks similar again here. It looks like their 1 foot turns sequence is still higher than that of the leaders from Korea for both Jenna and Benjamin, so testament to the hard work they've done and consolidating deep, clean turns.
The GOE is a little bit lower. We've got 3 that are above 1. The rest are positive GOEs, no problem, but in the 6.6, 0.7 range. We take a look at the Twizzles. Could be a little bit of loss there on the second set. Good pickup on this rotation. Look at the ice coverage and the speed. Amazing.
And I don't know, Ted, perhaps coming into the event they had different expectations, but to me, I'm sure they will be delighted to really put themselves forward as a team for the future with that third place in the rhythm dance. And I don't think it's able to beat the Koreans at this stage, so I just hope they won't be disappointed to see that their ordinal might drop after the free dance, but they've represented themselves really well here.
Well, always, you know, wherever you're in that place, you're hoping for the best. You say, well, I'm in this situation, want to maintain it. But I think after the competition, they put things in perspective and they go back and they work. So, well, next time we want to stay there, or we actually want to move up. So we'll see what the score is. The score that they need to have is 97.95 to take the lead. And their personal best is 89.24. Free dance score 85.16. That's third in the free dance, and they look to be okay with that for the moment. Total competition score 145.48. That put Jenna and Benjamin currently in the second place, and they're happy with that. Well done.
American Junior Ice Dance champions, lying in second place, Leah Nesset and Artem Markelov.
They have a special look and a special feel. 88.97 personal best last season in Krasnoyarsk. And they'll skate the free dance right now to the music of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, I knew they were American junior champions, so their pedigree was obvious by that result. But because Leah Nasset and Artem Markelov hadn't competed on the Junior Grand Prix Series yet, I wasn't quite expecting that, Ted.
Well, I've watched them over the last few days, and the first day I thought, oh, okay, they're really good, it's nice. Then the next day I thought, whoa, they're like really good. And I had a chance to chat with him. He has been here in the United States, or been in the United States for the past 3 years. He came from Moscow. She came from North Dakota. Now it's a kind of, like way up north there. So their story of how they got together and how they knew their partnership was special just within the first 2 days of skating together. It's amazing. This is going to be a senior team that we will see for years to come, and they will only get better, and they're already really good. It's amazing.
What I was so struck with, you see, she started the 1 foot turns with the back outside bracket, which is horribly hard, and the choice of their features as we see their twizzles, the features available to the teams are really clearly laid out, and everybody will work towards what's most comfortable for them to get level 4. But this, choosing to grab the blade on that direction, they seem to have just chosen some of the most difficult features and creativity to get the highest level. And like that entry and this exit that's about to come out of the straight line lift, you don't have to make it that difficult, but they did it, and they did it incredibly.
Well, that's what makes them a little special, is they're going way beyond the call of duty here, and already moving themselves into senior quality on some of these elements and difficulty as well. And so this is going to be ever so tight, because they need a 96.99 to take the lead in the free, at least. So it's going to be really, really close. But this team, it doesn't matter. This team is of the highest level. First time out. They're exciting. Wow.
And they cannot compete in the Junior Grand Prix final because they have just this one assignment. But assuming they get qualification for Junior World Championships, they will be right in the mix with so many other brilliant dance teams that we have seen this season.
This is great work. Fabulous story of how they got together and how they're training. It really is interesting. We didn't have time to go into that, but it's a special story indeed, a special team, and a special program here tonight.
And their coach, Elena Dostatny, she's a 2-time World Junior Bronze medalist herself, and she must be beyond proud of what's just happened.
Yeah, that was great. That was just a strong program. It was dynamic and caught your attention and made you sit up straight and take notice.
Yes.
And we certainly did. Let's take a look at free dance scores for Leah and Artem from the United States. 95.09. That's second in the free dance. 156.36. And that'll put Leah and Artem currently into second place overall behind the Korean team, with one team to come. They'll medal in this competition. Maybe not the color they wanted, but look at this, ever so close.
Wow, I can't believe that this event can get even better, but that extremely likely with a team that train here in Egna. Katarina Mrazkova and Daniel Mrazek.
105.43 personal best in the Czech skate. Watch for the speed, the power, the change of directions, the skating skills. It's beyond, as they skate to the man in the iron mask.
to make another bold statement, Ted, but I think that could be the fastest ice dance team in the world, junior or senior.
Yeah, the ice coverage is really remarkable. You have to be in the rink to see it. It's just extraordinary. I watched skating all my life, been in the sport all my life, and it's not just about the speed, of course, we know that, but we are talking about that because it's extraordinary to see a junior team move that fast. Having said that, and this is a wonderful performance, it's a wonderful program, absolutely outstanding. There's some other really good compositions as well, but no one, at least yet, in juniors skates at that speed and that intensity throughout the program. And you can see they leave nothing on the ice. Their fuel tank, their gas tank is empty coming off because they've used it all in that program. Pretty amazing stuff, that's for sure. As they greet Matteo Zani coming off the ice. Both single skaters. I'm going to ask them that in the interview. I want to know a little bit about that transition from singles to dance. Let's take a look here. The intensity of the program right off the top.
And they will be gunning down for the world record for the junior free dance, having already secured the world record for the rhythm dance. And so intense to start for the man in the iron mask free dance.
Well, their personal best is 105.43, looking to beat that here.
And not only do they have incredible power and speed and flow, but that is born from a good quality of skating skill, fundamentally mindful of the way that the blade leaves the ice and the edge set that they have on each stroke. As we look at their 1 foot turns, and they choosing to do a back outside counter, that a little bit more difficult, rotating in a clockwise direction within the twizzles, not choosing the easiest combinations of turns within that, but done incredibly well.
And Mark,
see the curve lift.
What is also amazing is you could not say one of them is stronger skater than the other. They're absolutely equal in the depth of edge and the power and the ice coverage that they carry, and that's what makes them so unique. Look at the unison. They're never out of step because they have the same amount of power and speed and edge depth.
Yeah, completely. And you wonder if maybe the brother and sister sibling notion motivates them both to be a positive, healthy competition between them, perhaps. But in the interview after their win in Ostrava, Daniel was just saying he couldn't believe that 2 years after he'd competed at the Junior Grand Prix there as a single skater, he was there now with his sister, and intimated that they were ice dance partners and best friends as well. And that's got to be a recipe for success.
Yeah, who would have known? You know, really, you never know the pathway your life will lead you. And there they were, brother and sister, doing their own thing, and then all of a sudden, look where they are together here now. Well, they're looking to beat a 105.43. They may not do that here, but certainly they'll have enough. And take the gold. Second time out, 101.13. Of course, that's first in the free dance with a total competition score of 173 points as they take their second gold medal on the Junior Grand Prix.
They wanted more, I think.
Yeah, they're looking at that. Are those numbers wrong, or are they right? Yeah, they want more, but that's what Matteo explained in his, I asked him what makes them so special. He says, because they set their standards. We don't need to do too much. They set the standard. As we see the final standings in the junior ice dance results, as Hannah, Lim and Ye Quan move up from fourth to take the silver medal in this event. And Mark, as we prepare the ice for the medal ceremonies, this is the conclusion of your broadcast here at the Junior Grand Prix. I want you to give our fans your take on your experiences here in the Junior Grand Prix, some special moments throughout.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. What a real privilege and honor it has been to join you, Ted, in covering this prestigious Junior Grand Prix series, which I think, thanks to the work that you and all those behind the scenes have done, is really built to be an exciting feature on the skating calendar. And it would be hard to pick any standout moments when there have been so many wondrous performances. But as I said when we spoke in Gdansk last week, I think one of the most memorable things that I'll take away from being a part of the Junior Grand Prix series is the sense of support from the officials, the coaches, the competitors, who all seem very united in supporting each other on the junior stage, and that a difference in vibe perhaps to that which we see in the seniors, but one that is a very, very positive one, and one that I've thoroughly enjoyed seeing.
Now it's going to be interesting as you move into coverage of your seniors. You're doing 4 senior Grand Prix, so that's wonderful. And I'll be listening intently and texting you. Say, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, actually. No, but it'll be interesting to see now that you've covered the juniors and you see the seniors, you see the development. Of course, in the seniors, most of those have been in the juniors for the last number of years. So you're going to get a really good feel for where the sport is worldwide, and such a good experience to do that. So, you've just done such an outstanding job, and just love the research that you have done that I don't do or don't have the time to do, or certainly don't have the memory to do it. That's for sure. I so much appreciate, your work on this. And really what I'm happy about is your passion for it, because if you're not passionate about not the coverage, that's the easy part. We love skating, we cover the skating. But the care that is so important to the Junior Grand Prix and these young people, we have a responsibility. So does the ISU, so do the judges, so do the coaches, so does everybody have the responsibility to help these young people through difficult times in their life as they grow up and pursue high-performance sports. So thank you for your honesty and your openness and your care for the athletes.
My absolute pleasure, and I think sometimes in competition we get lost thinking about results, but you're so right. These are young humans, and we are really incredibly fortunate and I dare say blessed for the commitment that the athletes and the coaches and the people behind them give for us to be able to enjoy watching the fruits of that hard work.
Yeah, no question. The journey is long, and the juniors were never covered on this journey. I mean, we've started that 8-7 years ago, and we knew about the seniors. We watched Olympics, we watched Worlds, we watched the Senior Grand Prix final, but where did they come from? What were their stories? And how does the sport grow around the world? The Junior Grand Prix tells those stories. And as you follow these careers over the next number of years, as we lead into the Olympic Games and you see those members at the Olympic Games, those skaters at the Olympic Games, you'll know where they came from, and you'll know the journeys, the highs and the lows that they've passed over in the previous 4 years. So it's really exciting that the ISU has been able to really develop this Junior Grand Prix to the level it's been, and having you on board. And I'm glad that you love it, because otherwise that'd be kind of boring, wouldn't it? And it's good that you take a bit of a jab once in a while. We have a sense of humor. We have some fun. But they're long days. There's no question of that. Do you have any closing comments, Mark, on your experiences?
Well, I think thank you to all those that have sent us in the questions and entertained both you and I, Ted, but huge thank you to you for welcoming me so much in something that you have worked on for so many years, and I just have fingers crossed that people will want us back and we'll get to relive some of the fun.
Well, get ready and get that, home studio, which worked out very well this week. There's no question. Get that home studio really nice and comfy, because we will be using that sometimes, and I'm sure you'll be live beside the rink as many times as well. So we really enjoyed your contributions to the Junior Grand Prix. We look forward to listening to you on the Senior Grand Prix, and later on in the season, we hope as well. So we're going to conclude our coverage of this event right now as they get ready for the medal ceremonies. I'm going to get an interview with the champions, of course, here. Mark is going to go off and do the highlight pack as his last duty on the Junior Grand Prix. We look forward to the seniors as well. So for all of us here at the ISU, and for Mark Hanratty, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the men's free in the morning and the ladies free in the afternoon and evening. And that'll be the final day of coverage of the Junior Grand Prix season. Good night, everyone.
representative of the organizing team is Tali. Please welcome the Deputy Mayor of the City of Egna, Mr. Giorgio. He will award the award. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national